friend Mike Richardson, who's from southern West Virginia, and it's about the coal mining wars in West Virginia in the 1920s, called the Battle of Blair Mountain. 2, 3, 4. Find a vein, drain the black gold, hoping to God that the timbers hold. Like my father before me, it's all I know. We live only to harvest the coal, harvest the coal. Mine owner's mercy, about as shallow as a grave. We're living in shanty towns, we ain't got no say. 14-hour shifts, such a meager wage. And Mother Jones can't help us now anyway, anyway. We'll take the roads, we'll take the trees by force. Oh, deliver us alone from the gathering stores. Lay down your Bibles, take up your guns. Blair melted, here we come, oh, here we come. Red bandanas that tell us what side you're on. Yeah, we're the rednecks of the Union 1921. We'll leave tonight at 13,000 strong and take the fight to Blair Mountain before the dawn, before the dawn. We'll take the roads, we'll take the trains by force. Oh, deliver us love from the gathering stores. Lay down your Bibles, take up your guns. Blair melted, here we come, oh, here we come. I fight for my father, still buried in the mine. I fight for my son, so he'll have a better life. We're soldiers of a great war, and it don't seem right to treat a man like a dog just to make a dime, just to make a dime. We'll take the roads, we'll take the trains by force. Oh, deliver us love from the gathering stores. Lay down your Bibles, take up your guns. Blair melted, here we come, oh, here we come. Here we come. So find a vein, drain the black gold. You better hope to God that those timbers hold.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful.
I'm not a coal miner, as you well know, but I'm as close as I could be not to be one. My father was a coal miner who was killed in the mines, and my husband is slowly dying with black lung. And my husband and me was in the strike in the 30s in bloody Harlan County, and I do mean it is bloody too. And they tell me, these miners say, we're going to stick it out unless Duke Power signs the contract till hell freezes over. And the men knows they've got nothing to lose but their chains and their union to gain. So I say, hang in there. And now this song I composed in the 30s. And as you know, I'm old, that's 40 years ago, and I can't sing very well. But you can ask the scabs and the gun thugs which side they're on, because they're workers too. Come all you poor workers, good news to you I'll tell, how the good old Union has come in here to dwell. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? If you go to Harlan County, there is no neutral there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair. Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Come all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? My daddy was a miner, and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? They say in LA County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a scab for the boss, beware. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab, or will you be a man? Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Don't scare for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Oh, 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 which side are you on? In 1948, the natives were expelled from the land of their ancestors, their homes and cities shelled, from the traitors in Transjordan to clandestine British demand, by the settlers' Zionist army that rampaged across the land. Oh Palestine, we hear your desperate plea, that once again across the land your people can be free. Oh Palestine, your people live in fear. We demand your emancipation from the river to the sea. In 1967, Israel did invade to conquer and to colonize what little had remained. The people of old Palestine, once again their fates entwined with the Zionist occupation of their homes and weary minds. Oh Palestine, we hear your desperate plea, that once again across the land your people can be free. Oh Palestine, your people live in fear. We demand your emancipation from the river to the sea. In 2023, they've come a final time to destroy your homes and families with a murderous, lethal design. The bombs overhead are falling as our leaders continue their lies. The sky does glow and the blood it flows as we hear the children's cries. Oh Palestine, we hear your desperate plea, that once again across the land your people can be free. Oh Palestine, your people live in fear. We demand your emancipation from the river to the sea. We stand with your emancipation. Your people will be free.
Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable.
Yes, we have to deny so many claims from us to meet our shareholders' expectations.
I love sweet myths, but we gotta do stuff. We are not doing What If Alt His tonight. I don't have the time. I wanted to get started like 3 hours ago, guys. We do not have the time, even if we were starting 3 hours ago, to do this. I've got shit I gotta do tomorrow. We're gonna be doing that on Friday, hopefully, if I'm not too tired. What song was that? Which one? You'll have to be more specific. Hello, Ponyo H2O. Hello, TJ Kidder. Hello, the all-powerful Kagan. Hello, Ace E9000. Hello, Temporal Wizard. Hello, Screech. Hello, the Kitsune Cavalier. Hello, Salmon Moose. Hello, Banana Brains. Hello, Danger Days. Hello, Shark Nation. Hello, Mr. Miyagi. What's going to happen on Friday? The What If Alt His stream, probably. If I'm not too tired, because keep in mind, that is committing to, like, 10 to 12 hours of nonsense. What song was that? The Sweetness song that started? That is their new song, their newest single, Deny, Defend, Depose. It's really, really good. Highly recommend. Go check it out on streaming. Download, support the band on Bandcamp. Wonderful, wonderful outfit. Hello, Little Morphine Annie. And yes, as many of you may have noticed, the .gg site is down. I reached out to White Nervosa, and apparently they had a hardware crash on their server. So they're getting it back up and running, but it could be a few days. Let's see. Hello, Black Rose PCS. Hello, everybody. Hello, Underground Uncle. Oh, Hannah, thank you for the £5.
Oiling you up for tonight's big show. BWA Big Champagne.
Big Champagne, indeed. Thank you. Appreciate it. Does blue skying you do anything? It gets the message out that the stream is going more to more people. I believe the phrase for blue skying is just re-skeeting. Or reposting. You know, you take your pick. Hey, Hypno Amber. Hello, axolotls with cream. Shimps together strong. We will get through this GG-less world. Hello, cute dark arts. Holy shit, no, I'm using reskin. I'm not even kidding about that. That is one of the official terminologies. I refuse to call it reskeeting. I call it that because it's kind of funny. And sure, you could call it reposting, but, you know. Hello, Fox of Fate. Hello, Punky Gal. Yeah, you've subscribed to me for 45 months. You're closing in on 4 years, girl. What's going on today? Well, news. You know, news is what's going on today. Hello. Also, I got my hair did, but you might not be able to tell. Because the lighting is different here. Hello, Dragon Wing. I presume Biden's farewell address and the ceasefire are on the docket tonight. I have to be honest with you. There's a part of me that does not want to cover Biden's farewell address because libs that I know in my life have been soying about it. And, like, oh, it was such a good speech. And it's like, too little too late, motherfucker. You know, like I'm angry about it. I'm angry. Like, oh, did you just figure out oligarchy was bad and is taking hold in America? Maybe you should have done something about that as president of the fucking United States. Ugh. God, I'm gonna be really angry and salty about Biden. Slay the Princess LP when? I mean, I do have Slay the Princess. I think. Do I not? I thought I bought it. I actually don't have that. Yeah, the Supreme Court took on like the case today about banning pornography on the federal level. So that's fun. Literally one of the main arguments that Samuel Alito presented. I don't feel the need to go into it in depth right now because I don't have the spoons. But one of the main arguments that Samuel Alito was floating out there was that unlike Playboy, which had numerous literary figures publishing extensive, wonderful articles in its illustrious pages, Pornhub doesn't have any great modern writers, writing articles, which is maybe one of the funniest things I've ever seen a Supreme Court justice say in chat, in chat, in court. Like, I do think that is very funny. And also, I do think that if Pornhub, I think if Pornhub, is paying enough attention, and I bet they are, it would be extraordinarily funny for them to launch like an articles section of Pornhub and like sponsor like journalists and authors to write posts on the website. That would be so fucking funny, because then you could I go to Pornhub for the articles, not for the pornography, of course. If I have Pornhub open in my tabs, it's obviously I'm reading the very deeply informative articles. Honestly, they should. It would be funny, and also, at least we'd get one of those justices on the side of pornography. There's people who upload safer work content to Pornhub. There are. Yeah. Oh god. I will say I will say that while it is good that there's sexual education materials on Pornhub, maybe it's a sign that we've failed as a society, that they need to upload educational materials to Pornhub, because so many like young people are getting on the website to learn how to have sex from pornography. Like maybe we should just have comprehensive sex ed. Who'd have thunk? Who would have thought that might be a solution instead of Pornhub just needs to leak their client database, cross-reference with the GOP site. Hello, hello, hello. But how are priests gonna escape from their hate crimes, Jack? Don't ask me. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, if kids don't have sex ed, of course they're not gonna have sex with each other. That would never happen. A 15-year-old would never do that. Just like they would never have underage drinking at their house parties. You shrug now, but once Google goes real crazy, all non-gambling streaming is going to move to Pornhub. I don't think that that's going to happen. I mean, we'll see. Yeah, one of the real big dangers of that Supreme Court case is that it would reclassify like trans people or like gay people interacting with their significant others in public as pornography or pornographic in nature. Yeah. Can the stream be mirrored to Pornhub? Maybe? I don't know. I'd have to get a verified account to make content over there. Not that I would know. Not that I've ever looked into that, mind you. Boop, boop, boop. It cannot be worse than the Twitch chat. Honestly, I don't even know. I took this screenshot to send to my partner, and then I think I forgot about it, but your comment just unlocked it in me. Literally, I got this message. Literally, I got this message earlier today on my Instagram. You can't even read it. It reads, "When are you going to do porn? You are beautiful and gorgeous and sexy, and I really like you." And you know, that's a pretty respectful way of asking me to get on Pornhub. And now all of you are telling me, "You gotta get on Pornhub, Jack. It's the future. It's the future." It's just ironic. Jack, that's sexual harassment. Yeah, I know. I'm a woman content creator on the internet. Also, I did used to make spicy content on a website that shall remain nameless. Lisan al-Gaib, it was written in the pages of Playboy. Lisan al-Gaib. Chad is never horny? No. Yeah, honestly, it might make me more powerful than ever before. You know, where else can you... No, I'm not entertaining this any longer. All right. Moving right along. I just want to shout out Southpaw Travesty on Blue Sky for making this wonderful little guy. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this shimp. Someone made Southpaw Travesty made a homemade shimp. Look at that. Look at that. Lisan al-Gaib, it was written. I love them. I would take a bullet. Anyway, I you know, good vibes. Hello, trans girl Jade. Man, you make a single typo and start a cult. You know, you get some dumb monkeys to bash typewriters, and you get the Church of Scientology. You know, it happens. Are you calling me? Wait, did you write the book of Scientology, which is what it's called officially? Hey, Mabelcloth, we doing a spooky? We not doing a spooky at the moment. We're doing a politic. All right, folks, you ready? Here we go. Ugh, I'm tired. No spoopy? Maybe a little spoopy if you guys are good. But I have to be up in approximately 7 hours, so every minute that this stream goes on is going to make me crankier in the future. Okay. Here we go. So, folks, it turns out that Israel and Hamas have reached a ceasefire deal, which is pretty rad. That's pretty great. People are celebrating in the streets of Gaza. People are celebrating in Israel. Things seem to be pretty good right now, all around, relatively. And that relatively is doing a lot of work, considering that the ceasefire doesn't actually go in effect until Sunday, meaning that even though the ceasefire was agreed to by all parties, asterisk right there, Israel is still bombing Gaza. In fact, one bombing run on Gaza today killed 32 people. So it's not exactly done yet. But in theory, on Sunday, those bombs should stop. In theory. Now, what do we know about this deal? This deal was brokered by Qatar, Egypt, the United States, the UN, and, of course, Hamas and Israel. And it involves prisoner exchanges, and I have to be honest with you, while I am cautiously, like, obviously this is a good thing. This is progress. But I'm a bit pessimistic about how this is going to go. I am skeptical that Israel is going to keep its word on this one. And let's dive into it. Why am I? Okay? So one of the things that I found really helpful on this, because I initially read the reporting on the AP, Associated Press, and they got kind of vague in a few places about this ceasefire deal, and I found this really handy explainer from Al Jazeera, so we're going to use this one, okay? Now, let's see. Basically, the ceasefire is split up into 3 different phases, and the first phase is the only one that's really fully fleshed out, where people actually, understand what's happening, what's going on, and, yeah. Well, let's just go through the first phase, right? So, you know what? I'm just going to make myself big because, frankly, it's weird seeing a gigantic black gap on the screen. So the first phase is going to last 6 weeks. This involves a prisoner exchange. Basically, all prisoners that are being held by Hamas that are women and children, as well as men over the age of 50, meaning that military-aged men still in Hamas custody are going to be held onto until phase 2. And that exchange will happen. Hostages will be released. And also imprisoned Palestinians will be released. So essentially, a few of the big things here that are going on. There's going to be a partial withdrawal of Israeli troops, but not a full withdrawal of Israeli troops. And it doesn't seem as if that withdrawal includes the Netzarim corridor, or basically the line of entrenched defenses and military personnel that has split Gaza into 2. That's going to remain intact until the end of phase 2, is my understanding. And basically, around 1,000 Palestinians who have been imprisoned since October 7th are going to be released by the State of Israel. And that's interesting. Some of the people, and this maybe is one of the things that I'm a little bit hopeful about, is that Israel has agreed, if the 33 Israeli captives are returned in the first phase, Israel has agreed to release some Palestinian prisoners, including some who are currently serving life sentences. Now, why that is interesting is that may include one of the most influential leaders in Palestinian politics, right? I just had his name and now it is slipping through my brain. Let's see. Marwan Barghouti. That's right. Marwan Barghouti has been in prison for a very long time, and one of the big questions here is, will he be one of the prisoners released? Because if so, he represents a possible path forward for leadership in Gaza, which would be really, really useful and needed, considering that Israel has not agreed to allow the Palestinian Authority to take control over Gaza and is still not agreeing to allow Hamas to control Gaza. So the issue really boils down to who's going to be controlling Gaza after this. But that's a much longer range question. I just found it interesting that they have verbiage in this, initial ceasefire agreement that prisoners serving life sentences may be released. So that's very interesting. Moving along. Additionally, Israel is going to withdraw its forces and restrict them to areas that are no more than 700 meters inside of Gaza's border during Phase 1, excluding the Netzarim corridor, which will remain and slowly be taken down. Israel is also going to allow people to return to their homes, or what's left of them, in the northern part of Gaza, and has generously allowed a surge in food aid, which that's so strange that there's been a sudden surge. Where did they get all of that? It's almost like they've been preventing humanitarian aid, from getting to starving families. It's bizarre. But they've agreed to up to 600 trucks per day. They are also going to allow wounded Palestinians to seek treatment within Israel, and open up the Rafah crossing with Egypt about 7 days after the start of the ceasefire, which again is Sunday, the 19th. So all of this will be good. Israel has also pledged to, in this first phase, completely withdraw from the Philadelphia corridor, which is the crossing between one of the crossings, the border area between Egypt and Gaza, which they were occupying and preventing Palestinians from crossing. But that withdrawal process needs to be completed no later than the 50th day after the deal comes into effect. So basically they have a month and a half, little more than that, after the ceasefire goes into effect. Now, basically what I'm trying to say is this is all pretty good. It's not enough. It's nowhere near enough. But as a starting point, this is pretty good. The ceasefire, however, will only last 6 weeks, which is not a very long time at all. And really, what happens after that is difficult to say. In theory, there should be 2 additional phases after Phase 1. However, a lot of Phase 2 and Phase 3 have big asterisks next to them, in the form of Israel providing and insisting upon no written guarantees This is maybe one of the most chilling parts of the Al Jazeera breakdown here, which is that critically, Israel has insisted that no written guarantees be given to rule out a resumption of its attacks once the first phase is complete and its civilian captives returned. Now, that is not, case closed, end of story, because apparently the Associated Press has an unnamed Egyptian source that was involved in the talks and is familiar with the three mediators involved in the talks, Egypt, Qatar, and the United States. And apparently Egypt, Qatar, and the United States have all given Hamas verbal guarantees that negotiations will continue and that all three would press for a deal that would see the second and third stages implemented before an initial 6-week window has elapsed. And, yeah, we really are in bro, trust me, bro, diplomacy mode, because there is no guarantee that the United States can currently give that is going to carry over into a Trump administration. That's kind of where I'm at right now, right? Like, I read this and I'm like, this just sounds like another Charlie Brown trying to kick the football situation. Honestly, any breath of, non-bombed air is good for people in Gaza. I'm not going to turn my nose up at that. But I'm extraordinarily skeptical of its long-term stability. Now, as for what would happen should the second phase come to pass, basically, Hamas would release all remaining captives, all living captives, and in exchange for more prisoners being released from the Israeli prison system. And also, Israel would completely withdraw from Gaza. The big asterisk here is that all of that is contingent upon Israel's cabinet voting to implement Phase 2 and Phase 3, which they haven't done yet and aren't going to do until later this week. And it is unclear what's going to happen there, because Benjamin Netanyahu has said, "Oh yeah, we got this. We're definitely going to vote on that." But Bezalel Smotrich, a member of his cabinet, is basically saying, "Over my dead body." And Benjamin Netanyahu relies on Smotrich and his far-right coalition to hold on to power. So I'm not exactly sure how else this could possibly shake out other than the cabinet voting down the resolution and then Netanyahu being like, my hands are tied, nothing I could do, haha. So that's difficult, right? Now, the third phase of all of this would essentially put... Oh my God. The third phase of this would essentially be a rebuilding effort within Gaza, largely coordinated by Egypt, Qatar, and the UN. But again, it would also involve like the returning of remains to both sides. And yeah, that no one knows who would run anything. The United States is saying, "Oh, well, the Palestinian Authority will." Israel's saying, "Hell no to that." Yeah, it's kind of a mess the deeper you get into this. Yeah. like the Gulf states all have different ideas about what should be done in Gaza. Israel has a different idea of what should be done in Gaza. The United States has a different idea. The UN has a different idea. There's no consensus really on like governance of Gaza going forward. And also administering the rebuilding efforts is going to be like a project of a lifetime. Like it's going to take literal lifetimes to undo the damage that has been done. Yeah, like that's the thing, right? That's the thing. I'm seeing a lot of you in chat right now saying essentially, you know, whatever happens here in the next, week, the second Donald Trump comes into office, none of this, like he tore up the Iran nuclear agreement like it was nothing. Any kind of diplomatic agreement means nothing to Donald Trump or any of the people he's going to appoint into positions of power. And part of what's difficult about this is that I want to be happy and I want to be excited that progress has been made, but what's happening here is not, Joe Biden's, foreign team finally cracking through. No, what's happening here is an exchange of political favors. Donald Trump sent an envoy to Israel on Shabbat, I believe, on the Sabbath, and forced Netanyahu to meet anyway, and basically told him in no uncertain terms, you need to get a ceasefire deal now for Donald Trump. And you know what? Netanyahu did. Netanyahu was told to jump, he jumped, because that's the power of an incoming president. And the fact that Miriam Adelson has been one of Donald Trump's biggest funders, to me, indicates that any kind of ceasefire is a sham. Like, Miriam Adelson donated to Donald Trump with the explicit promise that he would enlarge Israel by allowing it to have the West Bank, and I assume Gaza. So, like, when I look at this story, I want to be happy. I want to be excited for, the end of this conflict. But what I actually see when we dig down into it is, a delaying tactic. Because what's going to happen, and this is my interpretation of the situation and the context, but what's going to happen is that there's going to be a ceasefire. It's going to last 6 weeks. And you know what? It might even last longer than that. It might last until Israel has all of its captives back. They might play along. The second they get everything they want, the second they get the green light from Donald Trump, it's going to be apocalyptic in the West Bank. It's going to be apocalyptic in Gaza. Well, no, Miriam Adelson didn't ask for Gaza. She asked for the West Bank. But if you think that Israel would take the West Bank and not take Gaza too, I think that's silly. What was the ceasefire agreement caveat you mentioned? The really nefarious part of it? The really nefarious part of it is that, usually when you have these ceasefire agreements, you get everything in writing, for posterity, right? You get everything in writing so that in the future you can point to a specific clause, you can point to a specific part of your agreement that creates like the framework for how things are going to work going forward. And the fact that Israel refused to put in writing that's the caveat. The fact that they are essentially saying, we're not gonna do that. We're not putting that in writing. Bye. Just believe us. Bye. When you don't put it in writing and make it like public for the world to see, it gives you plausible deniability. You can just lie about it later. Doesn't matter who else was there. You can just say they're making it up. They're paid off by Pallywood or whatever conspiracy theory is going around at the moment, you know? It's really disgusting. Yeah, I'll just read this line again from the Al Jazeera breakdown. Critically, Israel has insisted, and that means it's not just like an oversight. Israel specifically requested that no written guarantees be given to rule out a resumption of its attacks once the first phase is complete and its civilian captives returned, i.e. once 6 weeks are over. The only thing tangibly agreed to here is a 6-week ceasefire. And anything after that is essentially, you know, who knows what's going to be going on in Trump world at that point 6 weeks from now, right? But anything after that, they can be like, we didn't agree to that. You know, we didn't agree to not resuming bombing runs. We didn't agree to that. Oh, yeah, no, but Mr. Malachite, I do think that the 6-week ceasefire is going to happen. I don't think that the second and third phases are going to happen here. I think that, you know, that ceasefire, they're going to keep negotiating and keep negotiating. Think of how long Israel delayed coming to ceasefire negotiations while the conflict raged. Now think of how long they can delay negotiations for phase 2 when there's not an active, like, hot conflict going on. They can do that for a while. And so what I'm trying to get at here is that I think that there's going to be a delaying of, you know, there's going to be a show of making negotiations. There's going to be a show. It's going to be a grand spectacle, a grand play. Donald Trump will get his accolades, but give it a year, 2 years. You know? Maybe Benjamin Netanyahu sees that Donald Trump isn't doing so hot in the, you know, in the midterms, and decides to shake things up a little bit. You know, by reinvading Gaza. It would not be unprecedented for him and Israel to do that. So, that being said, I am glad that the people of Gaza will be granted a reprieve from this immense amount of suffering. I just don't think they're out of the woods yet, unfortunately. That's where we're at, unfortunately. Will there be midterms? I'm worried. I do think that there will be midterms, yes. One of the, if you are worried electorally, which I totally understand, I would encourage you to watch the series we've been going through on YouTube. I have it in a playlist called on Tyranny. We go over Timothy Snyder's On Tyranny, and a lot of it is about resisting tyrannical or dictatorial power. And I think that we are not in as bad of a spot as many of us feel we are in our despair, you know? And what I will also say is that Donald Trump has an extraordinarily slim lead, you know, in the House, meaning he can only afford, for like the first 9 months especially, because there are going to be multiple Republican seats vacant due to appointments, due to special elections, etc. Meaning that realistically, his House majority is going to be like a couple of seats, right? Which is going to make it very hard for them to get anything done. And I mean, just like they're already fighting about like the House Speaker position. They're already factionalizing in there. Take some hope in the fact that they are on incompetent numbskulls, you know? And then understand that the first 100 days of Donald Trump's presidency, when a president is at their most powerful, he is going to be hobbled by you know, the House. And on top of that, once you get past the first 100 days, that means we have a functionally like 6 months, maybe 9 months until like the midterm election season starts. I know a lot of people are looking at this like it's a 4-year sprint, and it is going to be very hard. I don't want to downplay that. But what I am trying to say is that there is a very limited window for Donald Trump to actually achieve any of these things, and a lot of that window requires and relies upon us to be complacent and allow him to do it. Right? And this is why we need people to get involved in their local and state level politics. Join DSA, join your local Dems, because the more of us that do that, get involved and actually like do the work of showing up to the meetings, of coordinating protests, of, you know, helping out in our communities, the more of us that do that, the harder it is for Donald Trump to do his agenda. The more of us that stay silent, the more of us that do nothing, the easier it is for him to do the worst things he wants to do. So, what can we expect on Monday, right? We can expect him to basically glory in the inauguration. I expect on Tuesday there is going to be a flurry of executive orders. And a lot of them are going to be terrible. A lot of them, I expect, are also going to be illegal. I expect Tuesday is going to be kind of the kickoff of legislation. It's going to be the kickoff of, you know, legal battle upon legal battle upon legal battle to enjoin the courts to prevent executive orders from going into effect. And what I'm going to be trying to do, to the best of my ability for the next 4 years, is to focus less on what Donald Trump says, because he's going to say a lot of dumb shit. He's going to say a lot of scary shit. He's going to say a lot of angry shit. But the thing you need to understand is that we need to pay attention not to what he's saying he's going to do, but to what he actually does do. Usually, and in the past, I have said that what the president says matters, and that's usually true. But with Donald Trump, even his own party is like, yeah, he might have said that, but he's not gonna do it. Like, everything that he says he's gonna do, everything, his party doesn't even believe, you know? So we should not give it undue credence and power, and instead we should focus on what he's actually doing. And I think, by the way, this will also help to keep us sane for the next 4 years, because if we are constantly on edge about him invading Greenland, or declaring war on Mexico, or, you know, invading Panama, or nuking North Korea, we're going to go crazy. It's going to drive us nuts. We can't do that. Instead, recognize that it takes time to do the things he's suggesting. And if, for example, one were to want to invade Greenland, or Panama, or Canada, that involves a lot of mobilization of troops. That involves actual material moving around, not just an old man bloviating on stage. So let's pay attention to the actual material shifts that are going to be happening. Those vacant spots will have to be filled eventually. Yes. Typically, special elections in the House of Representatives happen within like 90 days. So we have like a period of time to, put pressure on vulnerable Republicans, because again, it's easy to say every single Republican is the same. And to a degree, they're aligned with corporate interests, but something that's really important to note is that Republicans are aligned with different corporate interests, and not all of those corporate interests perfectly align with one another, right? Not all of that capital wants to go in the same direction. And where there are splits, where there are branches, where there are, interpersonal disputes with like Elon Musk, for example, or billionaires, we need to pay attention to where those are and seek to put pressure on politicians that are being like Republican politicians that are being marginalized by their peers, and do our best to exacerbate that, Hey, Jeanette Brown. B. Parker, it does suck that you're not going to be able to escape thinking about him. He's going to be like omnipresent in our lives. But the best thing you can do is like not give too much credence to what he's saying. Don't like see him give like an interview or a speech and be like, oh yes, he's declaring war on Mexico. Don't let fear get the best of you. And channel your anxiety into doing something productive. Again, join your DSA, join your local Dems. Let's make things better. And you know what? It can be fun too. My partner and I, we're going to the DSA general meeting in about a week, and we're going to turn it into a date night. It's going to be real fun. And you know what? You can make your interactions and activism fun. You can make getting out there and doing stuff fun. It doesn't have to be angry. It doesn't have to be a slug. It can actually be something that motivates you, empowers you, and fulfills you. Okay? So get out there and do shit. Didn't even intend for that to be a segment, but sure. Sure, why not? Yeah, Christina, I've never been to that library. I'm excited to check it out. So pop-up rave at the DSA meeting? Honestly, you could probably make that happen. Hey, Doodleburb. Did you hear about the ceasefire? Yes, I did. Very exciting. But also, I'm very cynical and jaded about it. Seeing the caveat in the Al Jazeera breakdown that Israel refused to put into writing guarantees to rule out a resumption of its attacks after the initial 6-week period, sucks. Disco at the DSA? Yeah, you get it, Mr. Malachite. Trump is trying to take credit for it already. Honestly, though, Brutus Magnuson, if I had to get, I do kind of think that that's exactly what happened. Netanyahu and Donald Trump are extraordinarily aligned, and I think that Donald Trump is trying to get an optical win as he assumes office. Didn't he send one of his guys to talk to Bibi before the deal went through? He did. Donald Trump sent his like special envoy to the Middle East on Shabbat to talk to Benjamin Netanyahu. And basically, the reporting on that one is that Donald Trump's envoy was like told, like, well, Benjamin Netanyahu's going to be, with his family. It's a holy day, and Donald Trump's envoy like cursed him out and told him to get Benjamin Netanyahu on the phone. So, I do think that Donald Trump did orchestrate this, but that's also why I don't think long term it's going anywhere. What's in this for Trump other than positive PR? That's it. You nailed it. That's it. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit if people in the Middle East are dying or not. If he can use them for good PR, he'll do that. If he can sell them and their rights away to Miriam Adelson, he'll do that. Like, Donald Trump wants his inauguration to be, ascendant. He wants it to be his apotheosis where he ascends to the heavens. He wants to be like bigger than George Washington in the mythos of America. That's what he wants. More than anything in the world, he wants positive PR. Because how else is he going to make the money? Yes, it does also make Democrats like Joe Biden look extraordinarily weak, because they've been saying they've been trying to get a ceasefire deal for years now and failed. Honestly, it's kind of like a victory lap around Joe Biden more than anything. And, victory lap around Joe Biden includes a victory lap in his mind around Obama. Now, folks, we've been going for about an hour now. If you've been enjoying the show, hit the follow button on Twitch, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, hit the like button on the YouTube stream, and consider dropping those subs and donos. The Riverboat site is down today, so any kind of support you can throw my way, very much appreciated. And we are like less than 100 subscribers away now on YouTube from hitting 10,000. That would be really, really neat if we can hit that. I would be extremely happy. Yeah. How we doing, folks? And I did see someone ask about the situation in Minnesota. I got all the deets. I've been reading up on it today. Periwinkle, thank you for becoming a member over on YouTube. I don't know if I'm a real one. You are a real one. If you're here, you're a real one. You're dealing with flooding here? Oof. Hope you're doing all right. Oh, Paladin, apparently they had like a hardware issue with their server. They're getting it up and running, but it's going to be like a day or two. Will you be covering the inauguration live? Yes, I will. That is one of the things I am going to be doing. Was it a January 6th like coup in Minnesota? No. But you know what? Let's get to it, huh? Let's dive right in. So, folks, it's so weird not to have chat right here. I just noticed that. It's so weird not to have the chats. Adjust the bra strap. All right. Perfect way to start a segment. So, folks, there is a situation that has been unfolding here in Minnesota, and it is essentially an attempted coup by Republicans in the state house. It's very bizarre. So I'm going to try and sum it up here in, layman's terms. But basically, in order to have a majority or a quorum in the Minnesota House, you need 68 members, okay? However, the Republicans have 67 seats, okay? Democrats currently have 66. Paladin Lost, thank you for the 5 gifted subs over on Twitch. I appreciate that. So, Democrats have 66, meaning neither side on its own is capable of achieving a quorum. Now, Scoyatolo, thank you for the
Here's
sub.
this. Hey,
I appreciate
everyone.
it.
Subscribe to it Riverboat Jack if you have any beauty in your life.
That's me. So, GOP has 67, Democrats have 66, right? Now, this is complicated because one of the Democratic seats, which was ruled as justly won by the Democratic candidate on Tuesday, was won by just 14 votes, right? It was so close that they actually looked into the race and found out that 20 ballots had been thrown out before being counted, and they had to have a judge hear testimony from voters that established essentially that they did vote for the Democratic candidate. And enough testimony from enough people came in of those 20 ballots that were thrown out that effectively means that that seat was won by a Democrat. However, Republicans don't want to seat him. Okay? So that would bring Democrats down to 65. This is important because all of the negotiations since the election to, just a couple days ago were essentially centered around Republicans and Democrats sharing power, since they were presumably going to have 67 seats and 67 seats. So they were doing negotiations to power share, and Democrats would keep the Speaker of the House position and would basically be able to maintain committee chairs and stuff like that, right? Now, the issue here is that Republicans pulled out at the last minute. Uncharacteristically, I know. And unfortunately, what that means is Democrats to protest this just didn't show up to the first session, meaning that the House Speaker essentially was like, well, you guys can't be here. We don't have a quorum. We are not legally or constitutionally able to meet because we do not have 68 members. Therefore, I adjourn the session. However, the 67 Republicans here in Minnesota said, what if we just stayed, though? And they elected their own Republican speaker and their own mini cabinet of Republicans to run the state legislature. And now we have a fake House Speaker, and Republicans are coming into conflict with other state lawmakers. It's a mess, right? Now, a lot of this centers over one race in particular, which I believe is District 40B. And that one was also won by a Democrat. So again, this is why initially the negotiations were for power sharing 67 to 67. However, that Democrat was found to not be living in that district, which is a requirement when you are elected to represent that district. So being disqualified, that seat now goes to a special election. Now, luckily, that seat tends to be safely Democrat. However, if the legal maneuverings of the Republicans are allowed to continue, they would effectively be they would effectively be wielding power that is not theirs. And this has kind of created a constitutional crisis because essentially the state laws are pretty specific that you need 68 members to have a quorum. But Republicans are arguing you need half of all elected seats that are filled in order to have a quorum, which has never been how the state constitution has been interpreted in the past. So the emergency litigation has ensued. The state Democratic Party, the Democratic Farmer Labor Party, has issued, their lawsuit. They're sending it up to the state Supreme Court, and luckily, the state Supreme Court is full of DFL appointees. So it's very likely that this will all be resolved in favor of Democrats. And in fact, it might backfire spectacularly because a second set of litigation was filed to basically ask the state Supreme Court to rule this as an illegal power grab, illegal seizure of power, which could, I'm not entirely clear after having read up on this what the consequences of that would be. Possibly ejecting Republican leadership from the state, from their offices. I'm not entirely clear, but like this, it's a real shit show. But it's been really cool to see Democrats standing in solidarity in a way that actually prevents Republicans from doing anything. That's great, because if just one Democrat, my understanding is if just one Democrat had actually showed up to the House, there would have been enough lawmakers present for a quorum, and Republicans could have solidified this power grab. But because Democrats held the line, like, things actually have a shot of getting resolved in a not completely asinine manner, to say the least. Yeah, there are islands on Lake Superior. Maybe we can enact like a Napoleon-like exile on one of those. Just a thought. So anyway, that's what's going on in Minnesota, and as of today, there's no clear resolution yet. However, the state secretary is like pushing this to be fast tracked through the state Supreme Court. Hopefully this will be resolved in a handful of days, but it's been pretty wild. Anyway, that's what's happening in my neck of the woods, which is a thing we say in Minnesota, because we got woods. We got lakes and we got woods. There we go. We did it. Battery at 7%. Get to the charger. Ponyo H2, I like your use of emojis. Those types of emojis always make me happy. Do we have any questions? In Minnesota, every property is lakefront property. Just about. Also, thank you to the folks who supported in stream while I was trying to babble out that story. I know I'm not the most articulate tonight. Do I have to chat here for today's stream? You can also chat over on YouTube. But let's see. Thank you to Paladin Lost for the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Thank you, Scoyatolo, for resubscribing. Thank you, Salmon Moose, for the gifted tier 1 sub. Shark Nation, thank you for subscribing. Unicorn Now, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate all the tier 1 subs, guys. Fargo takes place there. Wrong. Common mistake. Fargo is in North Carolina. But to be completely fair and balanced, half of Fargo is in Minnesota. There are technically two cities, right next to each other. One is on the Minnesota side, the other is on the North Dakota side. Do, 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 do. Like Kansas City, then? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, on the Minnesota side, it's Moorhead. Fargo Moorhead. Does the riverboat come from living near the headwaters of the Mississippi? Kind of, yeah. Like, not exactly, but kind of, right? Like, the riverboat Jack name comes from introducing myself to various rural pastors in upstate Minnesota. And one of them saying, Jack, we were going to name our son Jack, but then, my old aunt, she told me, don't you name your son Jack. Everyone will think of Riverboat Jack, the gambler. And so for like an entire summer, people called me Riverboat Jack. And like, it wasn't like all the time, but just like occasionally Riverboat Jack, or they a couple of Riverboat Jack, he'll take all your money, stuff like that. There is no actual mythical figure of Riverboat Jack, the gambler, but you know what? I think the world is a more fun place if we, embrace the alternate history and just simply weave ourselves the tale of Riverboat Jack, a gambling riverboat like a fancy country whore who worked her way up in the saloons to work on a riverboat and then made a name for herself as a gambler, a rootin' tootin' gambler, a rootin' tootin' ramblin' gamblin' riverboater. Exactly. Yeah, maybe the real Riverboat Jack was the friends you made along the way. We can make up folklore about Riverboat Jack. You can. You have the right to make up folklore about me if you want to. I'm a bit biased, Hypno Amber. I think Jack is also a totally cute name for a girl. I'm a little biased though. Some riverboat gamblers stole her heart and left her jilted. Maybe. You're gonna get so many fan fictions now. You guys think I'm not big enough for people to make fan fictions about me. I'm not bigger than Hassan yet. It's also a cute girl for a name. Thank you. My aunt's name is Jacqueline, and we call her Jackie. Oh, that's great. Well, I think that probably the reference to a riverboat is associated with, the fact that the Mississippi curls all the way up through northern Minnesota too, It's really cool to go, by the way, just not sponsored by the Tourism Board of Minnesota or anything, but it is cool to go up to the headwaters and see where the Mississippi starts. That's just neat. It's really cool. A lot of leeches up there though, so be careful about your little toesy woesies. Are there any actual paddle boats that operate on the river? Oh yeah, I've seen them. There's a bunch of them not a bunch, but like a few of them around the Twin Cities. Like they host tours or parties. When are you gonna reach out for that Minnesota Board of Tourism sponsorship? Yeah, White Forest is broke, Aska. What's the fishing like on the river? Pretty great. I've heard. I've never fished it myself, but it's a popular place to throw in a line. All right. Good news, everybody. I just think this is neat. I just think this is neat. Blue Sky is getting its own photo sharing app, and it's called Flashes, which, I do think they need a better name team working on Blue Sky and AT protocol things. But, I just want, if I'm being honest, I just want an alternative to anything meta. I don't want to use Instagram anymore. It's not as fun knowing that like the company behind it is evil and hates me. I don't want to be there. I want to help kill it by moving to a different platform. We need a good streaming service. We do need a good streaming service. Which is kind of why I'm a little bit excited that at the bottom of this, the person who is creating Flashes also wants to launch a video-only app called Blue Screen. And honestly, terrible name. But I do like the idea of a more open foundation video hosting service. I like that. I would like that a lot. Blue Screen. No Zhao Hongshu. I don't care for the Chinese alternatives. I have to be honest with you. Not keen on it. Well, like the thing is, Blue Screen kind of has a nice ring to it, except that blue screens are typically associated with like your computer dying. Like if you get a blue screen, that's bad. Oh, sorry. It would be very funny for a service to just call itself Y. Like you get X and Y. I don't know. Just spitballing here. Not the best idea. Yeah, yeet. Yeet. Yeah, XXX. How are the Minnesota DFL able to be so united while on a federal level, Manchin and Sinema betrayed the workers? Largely because Minnesota's economy is diversified enough that there's not like one corpo giant that controls the state, and there's not like one natural resource that controls the state, generally speaking. So, and frankly, a lot of the places in Minnesota require you to be in touch with working class people. So like people here just kind of tend to be a bit more progressive, you know, because like a lot of us grew up, even if we are more like, even if we grew up closer in a city, like you were always like 10 minutes of driving away from being in a cornfield, you know. I exaggerate, 20 minutes away from driving to be in a cornfield. And like that, I think that tends to put you in closer physical proximity to working class folks. We also heavily invested in education, it's true. Yeah, it's also been, and like I don't want to say like it's a united front. Like that united front took work, right? Like it took effort from people here. It's just, and I don't know that Minnesota is exceptional in this way, but like we have a lot of people on the ground who are interested in making things better, who want to like participate in our political system, and like, you know, whether it's in DSA or in the DFL, they want to like push for things that are better. And generally speaking, the culture here is like, if you lay out an argument that makes sense, that's just like, this is going to make things better, people want to go along with it, you know? Yeah, the police are an issue. Like it's not you know, we're not the wonderful paradise of Minnesota, you know. We still got problems. Okay, in all right, here we go. In more dystopian news, folks, it turns out that AI is evil and it's coming for your journalism. Now, we are all aware that AI, you know, our AI overlords want to replace, you know, human jobs with AI workers. And, you know, sometimes that can seem sick, you know, that sometimes that can seem great, like sick nasty. Yeah, it'd be really cool to have like a robot butler to do like everyday tasks, and like, you know, that would be neat, I guess. Maybe if I don't think about it too much. But one of the things that I am not at all confident that AI can do even remotely well in a way that I trust is handle the news. You know, the method through which we are all informed and are then able to take action to improve our situations. I don't think that AI is capable of doing on the ground journalism. And that's a problem because, frankly, these AI companies and large language model companies rely on a constant flow of information. So one of the things they're trying to do in order to broaden their language models, in order to, you know, do more journalistic-y things, is insert their AI programming into local news, the place where most good journalism is happening, right? This is coming to us courtesy of Neiman Lab. OpenAI will fund 4 Axios local newsrooms as part of a broader partnership focused on juicing local news. And I just have to stop you right there. Local news doesn't need to be juiced. Local news needs to be printed and put in the local supermarket for free. That local news needs to be treated like it's a public good. That's what it needs. I'm sorry, the idea that you should be having juicier local news is silly to me. OpenAI has entwined itself with 19 news publishers and organizations from the AP, the Atlantic to Le Monde, and Spain's Prisa Media to the American Journalism Project and Lenfest Institute. Now, for the first time, the company is directly funding newsrooms. OpenAI and Axios said Wednesday that they've partnered and that OpenAI will fund 4 new Axios local newsrooms enabled by our technology in Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Boulder, and Huntsville. The launches will bring Axios' total number of local newsrooms to 34. Axios' CEO Jim Van de Hey has spoken bluntly in the past year about the value and threat that AI brings to newsrooms. What I don't like is the welfare state mentality of companies begging OpenAI and Google for money. I do think these companies, because they're training their machine on all of our collective IP, they probably should pay us something, and I'd be happy to take that check. And it's oh, so you're not going to beg them for money, but if they offer you money, you'll take it because you don't have any journalistic principles? Come on. You run a news org. How can you possibly trust this? At all. God. This deal only took off when the conversation turned to juicing local news for us, but also in ways that might help others. Van de Hey told me in an email Wednesday, "We were skeptical any company would care enough to put deep thought into it, but OpenAI did. We spent 6 months brainstorming and came up with something exciting to us and them. It is purely additive to our Axios local project. Nothing we do depends on OpenAI, but everything we do could be improved with their AI savvy." And I just have to ask, what? What is OpenAI possibly bringing to this table besides a sack of money? What possible improvement here is happening? Let's take a look. OpenAI is funding the 4 newsrooms for 3 years. Axios didn't disclose how much the company is paying. It's a significant figure, Van de Hey said. The Pittsburgh newsroom, with 3 dedicated reporters plus editing support, will launch first. Jobs in the other cities are posted on Axios' job board. If OpenAI stops funding after 3 years, Axios plans to continue those 4 newsrooms. It takes about 3 years to get near or to profitability, and we will be selling ads to buyers from the get-go, he said. Axios' own write-up of the partnership mentions that ChatGPT will use Axios' journalism to answer user queries with attributed summaries, quotes, and links to Axios stories, while Axios can use OpenAI to build its own products. I asked Van de Hey what he sees as AI's biggest threat to news companies now. I think any LLM advances that diminish the public's direct access to our content are a theoretical threat. It's not one we worry much about because Axios readers are not looking for generic content or answers. They are looking for vital, fresh, newsworthy, trustworthy, expert info and insight. In addition to the 4 newsrooms, the announcement refers to a broader content partnership between Axios and OpenAI. When I asked Van de Hey what such a partnership entails, he described a local news vision that goes beyond one company. We have a dream, a super system that would allow reporters in every town or city in America to produce a publication with no intervention beyond their reporting and writing, and then quality control editing. Imagine everything else done with a super system, from visual creation and selection to social distribution to building and buying a local ad for Jim's Pizza. We hope and believe OpenAI and many others can help get us there. We see this as mostly ad driven, but with events, memberships, etc. too. This is a worthy cause for others to join. Saving local news for the next generation is vital. And I just have to say, this makes me angry. You know, like, the main value that is being proposed here is stealing the work of your journalists. And on top of that, integrating it into these large language models to do what? To answer somebody's question on your website? Just provide quality news on what's going on locally. I mean, honestly, a better idea would be like, I don't know, some kind of mass directory through which you can like support local news or find different local news outlets in your area. That would be way more useful. And that does not require AI. Why do corporations try to act all progressive when pushing shit like this? Because it sounds a lot easier than we got bought by an AI corporation to, eventually give you slop that makes no sense and is largely useless to you. You know, it reads a lot better than, hey, we sold out our local news teams. And you're going to be reading AI-generated local news from here on out. OpenAI's Wednesday announcement also flags an expansion of its existing international partnership with WAN IFRA. In partnership with WAN IFRA, OpenAI is set to support 128 newsrooms across Europe, Asia Pacific, Latin America, and South Asia. The current cohort includes over 30 newsrooms, such as Norway's Adresseavisen, one of the country's oldest newspapers, established in 1767, and Cambodia's Ko Santephiep Media Group, publisher of the Daily Khmer language newspaper. The program provides hands-on education about AI implementation and culminates in participants creating AI prototypes tailored to their needs. And I just have to reiterate here, what value is this bringing? What value is this bringing to your reader? You know? Like I have to ask, what value is AI bringing to my phone? I hate the AI integrated into my phone. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I hate it so much that I've looked up user-created ways to disable AI on my phone. And you know what? If I do that, it breaks the apps. It breaks the phone. And you know what? It makes the pictures I take with my phone shittier. Because every single photo I take with this phone gets tuned with AI, whether I turn the feature on or off. It's just a question of how much. And it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And I don't want that in my local news. I want my local news to be written by, like, you know, I want it to be written by, like, the grizzled detective character from Ace Attorney. You know who I'm talking about? I want it to be written by this guy. Okay? I want my local news to be written by this guy. Pencil behind the ear, grizzled, you know, occasionally lights up a cigarette after a rough day. I want my local news to be written by an army of people like this guy, okay? Or you know, Atlantic accent women in like caps. You know, I want my news to be written by, you know, well-meaning go-getters who, they sniff out the story and they catch the big corporate criminal. I want that. Give me pictures of Spider-Man, goddammit. What phone do you have? I have a Galaxy S24. And I'm so upset about the AI integrated into it. It's so frustrating. But like this is how like the industry slowly dies. So much money is invested into AI bullshit. So much money, untold amounts of money is invested into this technology, and there's a potential for it to help in a number of different ways, but not when it comes to journalism, not when it comes to like many creative endeavors, not when it comes to this stuff. No, actually. Like if you want to use AI to like go through genetic sequences and like identify things that would take a human 1,000 years to do by themselves, like, okay, sure. But if you want to write an article about local corruption at the mayor's office, I don't want that. I don't think it can. Yeah, that's the thing, Ellie. I have to imagine that at a certain point, this entire AI house of cards is going to come crumbling down. Like the copyright lawsuits alone should sink every single one of these companies. Every single one of these companies is scrambling as much and as fast as they can to infringe on as much copyright as possible in order to make any kind of court case basically moot. They what they're trying to do is they're trying to hit upon a critical mass of information for these large language models, at which point, they're going to be able to do something well enough to make back this massive investment, right? They're putting all of the money in to try and get that done as fast as possible because they know that if the lawsuits come in first, they're all going down. The entire economy is going down. All the money wealthy people have put in to play the stock market for like Nvidia, it's going up in smoke, And what they're gambling on is that their investment will pay off sooner than the lawsuits coming to fruition. And the worst part is we live in a world where they may be right, where they may be able to get away with that. Should we start a Luddite movement? No. Hi. Oh, Nvidia itself will survive. It's just that, like, a lot of their technology has been propped up by AI stuff. And I think that much like how any company with, like, blockchain in their pitch for, like, a period of, like, 8 years did gangbusters. It didn't matter what it did or what the purpose of blockchain technology was. Investors didn't care. They just saw blockchain and were like, invest. Put it all in. And when that kind of evaporated, like, sucked. ba. All right. Bum, bum, ba, 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 ba. Ba, da, 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 ba, 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 da, ba, da, da. All right, let's see here. Someone told me that blockchain was good for things like concert tickets. I don't know about that one. All right. We're going to have a little bit of fun here, folks. We're going to have a little bit of fun. Y'all ready? Y'all ready to see a man get absolutely humiliated on the national stage? Y'all ready to see a grown man get humiliated and dressed down in a way you may not be familiar with if you at all pay attention to Congress? There's one man who is up to the task of delivering this verbal berating, and that is Tim Kaine on the membrane. Let's go.
Thank you, Mr. Hegseth. I'm looking forward to this opportunity to talk. I want to return to...
Such a jolly, slightly disheveled man. I'm delighted by this opportunity to talk. And by talk, I mean...
to the incident that you referenced a minute ago that occurred in Monterey, California in October 2017. At that time, you were still married to your second wife, correct?
I believe so.
And you had just fathered a child by a woman who would later become your third wife, correct?
Senator, I was falsely charged, fully
you-
investigated, and completely cleared.
Now, that's a weird response, right? Like, taken in isolation, like, Tim Kaine's asking, did you cheat on your second wife, who you had just fathered a child with, right? Like, that's a pretty straightforward question, and Pete Hegseth is clearly so nervous that he immediately is like, well, I was cleared of all wrongdoing. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. Okay, all right, I didn't do it. But that wasn't the question, right? Interesting leap he's making. The leap that Pete Hegseth is making, in my mind, is one of the most damning things about this interaction.
So you think you were completely cleared because you committed no crime. That's your definition of cleared? You had just fathered a child 2 months before by a woman that was not your wife. I am shocked that you would stand here and say you're completely cleared. Can you so casually cheat on a second wife and cheat on the mother of a child that had been born 2 months before, and you tell us you are completely cleared? How is that a complete clear?
Senator, her child's name is Gwendolyn Hope Hegseth.
That child has a name? So that makes it a lot better that I cheated on her mom.
And she's a child of God, and she's 7 years old.
And she was, and you cheated on the mother of that child.
She's in the room? Oh my God. So, for those who are unaware of Pete Hegseth's history, Pete Hegseth is a man who is currently on the verge of becoming defense secretary in the Trump administration. And he has a colossal drinking problem. He's drunk on air. He comes into work drunk, allegedly. He's run multiple nonprofits into or near bankruptcy. He fired from both of them for his conduct on the job. And he also, like, he's also quite lacking in fidelity, we'll say. He's been married multiple times. He has cheated on each one of those wives so many different times. It defies numbering. And importantly, there are a number of allegations around his conduct with women, including from his own mother in an email that leaked out in which his mother berates him for how he treats women. And additionally, there is an allegation that revolves around a woman who was at a hotel that Pete Hegseth was also at, who Pete Hegseth escorted to his room, and she says she can't remember what happened. And the next day, she stumbled around the hotel, unable to figure out which room her husband and child were in, because she had come there with them. So that's kind of that story. When he's talking about, I've been cleared of all wrongdoing, that's the story he's talking about. That's what he's really defensive about, right? Because, you know, he says he didn't do anything wrong, but also forced her to sign an NDA. Also, according to her testimony, according to her side of the story, Pete Hegseth took her phone and blocked the door, preventing her escape. So, yeah. Seems weird to pay a settlement and to make someone sign an NDA if nothing happened there, Pete. Not saying anything did, but I am saying that's weird if it was a big ol' nothing burger. But Tim Kaine here is doing an excellent job.
Then 2 months after that daughter was born, didn't you?
Those were false charges.
Well,
It was
no,
fully investigated, and I was completely cleared. And I am so grateful for the marriage.
Like, because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about this story, and this is why Tim Kaine is bringing it up in a roundabout manner here. Tim Kaine doesn't even have to mention the specifics of the allegations, because Pete Hegseth's reaction is so damning to him, right? Pete Hegseth is just bringing up, you cheated on your wife 2 months after your daughter was born, right? And Pete Hegseth can't bring himself to say yes, despite the fact that in the past, in order to defend himself against the rape allegation he was facing, he said he did have sex with that woman, but that it was consensual. Interesting thing.
I have to this amazing woman behind me.
You've admitted that you had sex at that hotel in October 2017. You said it was consensual, isn't that correct?
Anything,
You've admitted that it was consensual, and you were still married, and you just had a child by another woman.
again,
How do you explain your judgment?
completely false charges against me.
You
Fully investigated, and I was completely clear.
You have admitted that you had sex while you were married to wife 2 after you just had fathered a child by wife 3. You've admitted that. Now, if it had been a sexual assault, that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense, wouldn't it?
It was a false claim then and a false claim now.
If it had been a sexual assault, that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense, wouldn't it?
That was a false claim.
Man, it really doesn't make him look good that he can't say raping someone should disqualify them from being Secretary of Defense.
So
He's talking about a hypothetical.
So you can't tell me whether someone who has committed a sexual assault is disqualified from being Secretary of Defense?
Senator, I know in my instance, and I'm talking about my instance only, it was a false claim.
But you acknowledge
and
you
it was
cheat.
fully
Engage with the hypothetical. If somebody did commit a sexual assault, should they be Secretary of Defense? And you know what? I think most people would say, hell no, they shouldn't be Secretary of Defense. They shouldn't be Secretary of anything. They should be in fucking jail. Any, decent person, I guess.
Acknowledge that you cheated on your wife and that you cheated on the woman by whom you had just fathered a child. You have admitted that.
I will allow your words to speak for themselves.
You're not retracting that today. That's good. I assume that in each of your weddings, you've pledged to be faithful to your wife. You've taken an oath to do that, haven't you?
Senator, as I've acknowledged to everyone in this committee, not a perfect person, not claiming.
Oh, God. Tim Kaine here, it goes so hard. And I like to see it. I want to see more of this gumption from our Democrats.
But no, I just asked a simple question. You've taken an oath, like you would take an oath to be Secretary of Defense in all of your weddings to be faithful to your wife. Is that correct?
I have failed in things in my life, and thankfully I'm redeemed by my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
In finalizing divorces from...
Well, here's the thing, Brianna Huffman. Being president and being in the cabinet are two different things, right? And the more that Pete Hegseth can be uncomfortably nailed down to this specific incident, the more that people associate Pete Hegseth with, alleged sexual assault, the less likely it is that he will be confirmed. Now, will it make the difference? That remains to be seen. However, there are Republicans in Congress who do, despite all appearances to the contrary, still have functional hearts. They do still have some degree of a moral conscience, and if you can actually tap into that in a way where they are I know he's the president's guy, but he's a rapist. That's, I think, something that I think that works. I think that if you look, let me put it this way. I think if you exposed someone as a pedophile on the national stage in a confirmation hearing, that would carry some weight. That would maybe discourage several senators from voting to confirm one of that particular pick. And I think similarly, maybe to a lesser extent, but I think similarly, some senators might be swayed by this. Why is he using Lord and Savior as an excuse? To virtue signal. I guess it worked in the case of Matt Gaetz, so you may be right. That's kind of what I'm saying, yeah.
From your first and second wives, were there non-disclosure agreements?
Also, let's be real. If you're a Democrat in this particular circumstance, are you supposed to look at this and be like, well, it's pointless, so I'm not even going to ask anything. He's just going to get in anyway. No, you fucking put up a fight. This is the way you put up a fight here.
In connection with those divorces?
Senator, not that I'm aware of.
If there were, would you agree to release those first and second wives from any confidentiality agreement?
Senator, it's not something I'm aware of.
But if there were, you would agree to release them from a confidentiality agreement?
Senator, that's not my responsibility.
Did you ever engage in any acts of physical violence against any of your...
What is there to signal? There's nothing there but pure evil. Because there are a certain number of conservative evangelicals who go, well, he was redeemed by Jesus Christ, so, you can't hold that crime against him. And that's how they justify then confirming him, right? That's part of how that game is played, right? But also, the more you can make this guy, untouchable, the more Republicans who may vote to confirm him may be scared to eventually answer to their constituents. Because, hey, it doesn't look that great if, you vote to confirm, for example, someone who diddles kids or engages in statutory rape, and then your opponent or challenger in the next election can run that against you, can just like label you a friend of rapists, if they have like the spine to actually run that ad. So like this is politics. It's all about what you can pressure, what you can leverage against people.
Your wives?
Senator, absolutely not.
But you would agree with me that if someone had committed physical violence against a spouse, that would be disqualifying to serve as Secretary of Defense, correct?
Senator, absolutely not have I ever done that.
Also, yeah, the line, if you were unable to keep your wedding vows, how can you be trusted to keep your oath of office? It definitely hits, I think. At least for evangelical folks.
You would agree that that would be a disqualifying offense, would you not?
Senator, you're talking about a hypothetical.
I don't think it's a hypothetical.
Isn't it kind of hard to make that argument after Trump won again? You would think so, except that what we're, in my mind, in my analysis, Donald Trump is an exception. He's not the rule for Republicans. Republicans who try to emulate Trump can't get away with it. They haven't been able to successfully do it. Trump is the powerhouse. He is the center. He's the cult leader. He can do what he wants in the MAGA mind. There's no way he can do anything wrong. When we're talking about one of the sub-lieutenants, well, they don't have the magic. They don't got the sauce.
Hypothetical. Violence against spouses occurs every day. And if you as a leader are not capable of saying that physical violence against a spouse should be a disqualifying fact for being secretary of the most powerful nation in the world, you're demonstrating an astonishing lack of judgment. The incident in Monterey led to a criminal charge, a criminal investigation, a private settlement, and a cash payment to the woman who filed the complaint. And there was also a non-disclosure agreement, correct?
It was a confidential settlement agreement off of a nuisance lawsuit.
Right. During an interview, you claimed that you settled the matter because you were worried that if it became public, it might hurt your career. Do you maintain that you were blackmailed?
See, this is a great question because basically, setting up like the argument here, this is leverage that, if you're saying that you were being blackmailed, that like, this person could damage you and your career and make the country look bad, that means there could be other instances like that where you are similarly vulnerable. And when we're talking about a Secretary of Defense, that kind of vulnerability is disqualifying.
Senator, I maintain that false claims were made against me. And ultimately,
your attorney
those
used
false
the
claims,
phrase,
I have the opportunity to attest my innocence in those false claims.
But you didn't reveal any of this to President Trump or the transition team as they were considering you to be nominated for Secretary of Defense. You didn't reveal the action. You didn't reveal the criminal complaint.
Which is very interesting if you're innocent in this matter. Like, if you're innocent in this matter, why would you not reveal that this potentially damning blackmail could come out? Unless it wasn't blackmail.
Reveal the criminal investigation. You didn't reveal the settlement. You didn't reveal the cash payment. Why didn't you inform the commander-in-chief and the transition team of this very relevant event?
Senator, I've appreciated every part of the process with the transition team. They have been open and honest with me.
I love this bit because he's just like, when asked, you lied by omission to the very team of people you would be supporting. His response is, I loved working with this transition team. They were very honest with me. And it's like, well, but that's the issue. You weren't honest with them in return, right? Right? Like, that just highlights how bad you are at this.
We've had great conversations between the two of us, and I appreciate the opportunity that President-elect Trump has given me.
You chose not to reveal this, right? Because you knew it would hurt your chances.
Tim fucking knows he's getting a slam dunk here. Look at him shimmy. Look at him shimmy in his seat here.
But you chose not to reveal this, right? Because you knew it would hurt your chances. So you chose not to reveal this really important thing to the commander-in-chief and the transition team because you were worried about your chances rather than trying to be candid with the future president of the United States. Are there any other important facts that you chose not to reveal to the president-elect and his team as they were considering you to be Secretary of Defense?
Senator, I sit here before you an open book, as everyone who's watched this process.
With multiple non-disclosure and confidentiality agreements tying the hands of many people who would like to comment to us.
That doesn't look good. That looks bad, actually. And when we're talking about this, the optics matter, because if the optics get bad enough, like with Matt Gaetz, he's not going to be able to line up the votes.
Much has been made of your workplace behavior as a leader of nonprofit veterans organizations and as a
that's also a very good point, Shark Nation. An open book that you can't open to get it to answer any of the questions you ask.
Fox News contributor. Were you fired from either of the leadership positions with the nonprofits?
I was the leader. I was the CEO of Concerned Veterans for America and the executive director of Vets for Freedom.
Were you fired from either
and I
of
was
them?
never fired from a veterans organization.
Do you have non-disclosure agreements with either of those organizations?
Not that I'm aware of, Senator.
Many of your work colleagues have said that you show up.
That's a bizarre way to answer that question. How would you be unaware of signing a non-disclosure agreement?
For work under the influence of alcohol or drunk. I know you've denied that, but you would agree with me, right, that if that was the case, that would be disqualifying for somebody to be Secretary of Defense.
Senator, those are all anonymous false claims, and the totality
they're not anonymous.
The letters on the record here.
They're not anonymous.
On the record, people
we've seen records with names
Vets
attached
for Freedom,
to them.
Concerned Vets for America, and Fox News attributing to me being...
He's the documentation of Pete Hegseth drinking on the job is like so vast. Just real quick. I'm looking for a very specific image here. Midas touch over here. During a taping for Fox Nation's The War on Warriors live show at the Redneck Riviera Bar in Nashville, Hegseth could be seen with what appears to be a consumed alcoholic beverage on a stool next to him. The photo was taken by an attendee watching Hegseth's panel interview. Or earlier this year, during Fox Nation's election night coverage, Hegseth can be seen holding what appears to be a partially consumed alcoholic beverage, which, wouldn't necessarily be a problem for a normal person who just doing their job. But if you're someone who wants to be the Secretary of Defense of the United States military, I think it matters a little bit. Hegseth, while covering Trump's RNC nomination for Fox Nation, can be seen holding what appears to be a beer. Posted from both Hegseth and the Fox Nation accounts. There he is. Here's our sweaty boy. Oh yeah, here.
All of his kids have followed him up to be dunked into that big tank of champagne.
There's Pete Hegseth walking around just with a full ass bottle of champagne.
America has made its resolution, and that resolution was to soak Pete Hegseth.
And can I just say,
And he just, oh yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for right there. There's our sweaty drunk boy. Dude looks fucking smashed. Yeah. Anyway.
Colleagues
Working
said,
hard every day on behalf of
one of
my
your
mission.
colleagues said that you got drunk at an event at a bar and chanted, "Kill all Muslims." Another colleague, not anonymous, we have this, said that you took coworkers to a strip club. You were drunk, you tried to dance with strippers, you had to be held off the stage, and one of your employees in that event filed a sexual harassment charge as a result of it. Now, I know you deny these things, but isn't that the kind of behavior that, if true, would be disqualifying for somebody to be Secretary of Defense?
Senator, anonymous false charges.
They're not anonymous.
But you notice how he can never engage with the hypothetical. If it were true that there were sexual harassment and drunk on the job allegations, if that were true, should you be Secretary of Defense? Should anyone? If you saw that in someone else, would you say that rapist needs to be Secretary of Defense? No!
Anonymous. And I'll just conclude and say this to the chairman. You claim that this was all anonymous. We have seen records with names attached to all of these, including the name of your own mother. So don't make this into some anonymous press thing. We have seen multiple names of colleagues consistently throughout your career that have talked about your abusive actions,
Chairman, I think he's over his time. He's way over his time.
I now yield.
Incredible stuff. Tim Kaine, honestly, one of the good dudes in Congress. You know, like as far as Democrats go, anyway. And I remember something about Gaza. Yeah, Tim Kaine was in favor of pausing any arms transfers of offensive weapons to Israel. You know, as far as Dems go, pretty all right. Pretty all right. You know, he's got some of that fire in him. You know, like I think he was Hillary Clinton's VP pick. But, you know, the Democratic Party would have been better off if he had a little bit more prominence, maybe. We need more Katie Porters and AOCs. True. You gonna cover the Tammy Duckworth spat? No, I don't think I got time for that. Oh man, sorry. I just saw a thumbnail for Robbie Sobe's take on on Tim Kaine grilling Pete Hegseth, and the thumbnail has text on it that reads "The Marriage Police." God. We live in dumb times. Let's see that Marriage Police thumbnail. Oh God, I already closed out of it. Rising of the Shield Hero. God damn it. God damn it, AI Google search bar. Yeah, here it is. Found it. The Marriage Police. You. Hey, I saw you going 45 and a 30. You got a marriage for that? You got a marriage for that ring? Huh? You win a ring on the ring finger. I assume you got paperwork there? You can do negative AI to get rid of the AI? Is that true? Yeah, it's Robbie Sove, the Dungeon Master of Washington, D.C. You know, the thing he's most known for. His dungeon mastering skills. All right, folks, we've been going for 2.5 hours. If you've been enjoying the show, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And you have to put it at the start or end when you Google something. That is so much work. Is there an automated script I can get to do that instead? Because I will not remember to do that, and that is a lot of extra characters. Also, support stream, because this show's only possible thanks to viewers like you guys. Now, with that being said, folks, I've got a bone to pick. This time it's personal. AI free Google? It's not letting me click the link. I dislike this. The disenshitification Konami code. Anything. Oh my god. This is amazing. Look at it. It's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. I love this so much. Look at it. It works. What is this? I don't know. But it's pretty cool. I like it. And I want to use it. I want to integrate it into everything. Is there a way I can get this just like directly in my browser? I just went to udm14.com. That's real neat. I like it. All right. Fair, Irascended Kitten. Fair. Now, folks, it's time to do a story. Here we go. So, folks, there's this little locally run joint called Walgreens. Now, you may be familiar with it because I've talked about it in the past, mainly in regards to corporate shrinkage. All right? Now, corporate shrinkage is the practice of stealing from a company, or in other circumstances, companies losing product for whatever reason. And one of the things that was a big story, like a year and a half ago, was, all of these organized retail theft rings are destroying the ability to conduct commerce across America, and it's representing a massive spike due to the incredibly huge crime wave that is sweeping across the United States. They're closing the Walgreens, they're closing the CVS's, and you look at the press releases from Walgreens and CVS, and they're like, yeah, people are just stealing way too much stuff for us to stay in business. That's all we can't do it anymore. We're not running a charity here. And, it gave an impression that there was just massive lawlessness and crime. And, a number of, a number of news outlets ran with this story, predominantly conservative ones, notably one progressive outlet that labels itself the home of progressives. And, I did a little digging and found that actually all of those stories were largely predicated on, corporate press releases from either the companies themselves or from like retail organizations, i.e. interest groups that are set up to represent, groups of companies, which, if you're thinking of that and saying, maybe we shouldn't just take their word on it, you'd be completely and utterly correct. And in fact, I went so far as to say this entire story was bullshit, because later, during corporate earnings calls, during which corporations are legally required to tell the truth to their investors, and oddly enough, that truth doesn't tend to be widely publicized afterwards, they said, yeah, we kind of overdid it on the whole, shrinkage narrative and organized retail theft. We're actually doing fine, and our rate of shrinkage is actually lower this year than it was last year. So don't pay attention to that. We're just, doing our thing for good PR. And so, that should kind of tip you off that maybe they're full of shit and are still making record profits and still making lots of money, and that a lot of the store closures were being done not because of theft, but rather because of their suboptimal locations, because the locations for the stores were chosen pre-pandemic under the assumption that different areas would grow and the location would be more profitable than it ultimately became, right? A similar thing is now happening where, how all of Walgreens, CVS, these pharmacies, predominantly in, in inner city areas or even just cities in general, have they've been locking up all of their products. I saw this a lot when I was in New York, but these companies would just everything is locked behind plastic. You have to call over a manager if you just want to look at shampoos. It's honestly crazy. And you would be forgiven if you looked at all of these security measures and you came to the conclusion that, well, they need to have all of those security measures because of the rampant crime. because if they don't have that, you're going to have all those poors coming in here, shoveling all of the toilet paper and all of the shampoo into boxes and then just going out. And, the police will stand out there and be like, our hands are tied. We can't arrest him. He's a shoplifter. He's got all of the immunity. All of the immunity we give to cops, it's like that, but times 10,000 for shoplifters. We can't stop them. They're like tiny supermen. And you'd be forgiven if that was your conclusion, because the visual aesthetic of security that is going on there implies an underlying problem that the security is attempting to address. Like that kind of goes without saying. It's almost comical how much security measures are implemented in some of these stores. You'll never believe what Walgreens CEO said on their latest earnings call, guys. You'll never believe it. This is just a couple days ago now. Walgreens CEO describes drawback of anti-shoplifting strategy. When you lock things up, you don't sell as many of them. In a challenging retail landscape, Walgreens Boots Alliance shared plans to revamp its strategy in a Q1 2025 earnings call, despite reporting a 23% year-over-year decline in adjusted EPS to 0.51. The pharmacy giant outperformed expectation, buoyed by robust cost management and strength in U.S. pharmacy services. CEO Tim Wentworth emphasized the company's commitment to a retail pharmacy-led turnaround, underpinned by strategic store closures, enhanced customer engagement, and a renewed focus on health and wellness offerings. Notice how, the top line of this article is not, our security measures are keeping thefts down and making us so much more profitable. It's actually not helping them sell products. Because when you lock up a bunch of stuff, someone who's going to the pharmacy to pick up their prescription doesn't want to, go and get the manager to ask for permission to look at the sunblock. They just want, they're going to look at them and be like, nah, I'm good. I can just order it online and then leave. The entire business model of these pharmacies is around getting people in the store who are picking up their prescriptions. That's why the pharmacies are in the back of the stores. You have to walk through it. But if you're walking through it and everything is behind plastic or glass, you're not going to get those impulse purchases. It turns out the security theater doesn't help sell the products. And if it's not helping to sell the products, that means it's costing you sales. And realistically, the rate of shrinkage for these companies is minuscule. Someone on Blue Sky observed that the rate of shrinkage is actually so low, you would make money taking away all of the security features and just giving away product to people who need it. You would actually make more money by donating the products to various shelters or aid groups in the area. So that instead of people coming in to steal it because they need it, they can just get it from a legitimate source. It's like the TSA, guys. I know many people over the holidays watched the hit thriller Carry On, a wonderful film. And, it's exciting to see the TSA actually doing something. But guess what, guys? The TSA fails 95% of its bomb checks. It's security theater. It's something that seems like it makes us safe, but doesn't actually increase our safety. In much the same way that Walgreens putting stuff behind, defensive barriers makes it seem safe, makes it seem like there is, in fact, a huge underlying problem that they are protecting their product from, when in reality, it's just a play made up of sound and fury. Didn't we already know that locking up items reduces sales? One would think. One would think that people would know that. Basically, any hurdle you put between like people and a product, it indicates lost sales. And I can't think of many bigger barriers than an actual physical barrier. Yeah, exactly, Hypno Amber. Like if you're in your pharmacy and then you are like, oh, I need underwear, and you see the underwear is locked up, you just go next door to the Walmart where it's not locked up. All the security is not free either. It takes equipment and time from your workers. Yeah. It takes time from the employees. In some cases, they hire full-time, like, guards for the store. Like, you could make so much more money by just not doing that. And, like, actually making smart decisions with your product. Anyway, it's at the very least nice that in an earnings call with investors, Walgreens CEO will come right out and say, yeah, we are kind of shooting ourselves in the foot with this whole, locking up product thing. Because it turns out, any other time they're talking to you, they're probably lying. Good rule of thumb. Corporations are not your friends. They have no obligation to tell the truth unless they are in an investor call. So don't take them at their word. We did it. We finished a segment, folks. We did it. Exactly, Alexandria Star. An extra barrier, even if it's easy to overcome, gives shoppers more time to reconsider. Exactly. Yeah, honestly, that is the shopping experience, Forlorn. It makes grown-ass adults feel like children begging to get a cookie from the cookie jar, except instead of getting a cookie, it's the opportunity to pay for a product. That you don't, that isn't even necessarily a high-quality product, because you're buying it from a pharmacy, but like, goddamn. It's the last thing you want to feel. Yeah, I don't necessarily begrudge, like, locking up electronics necessarily, but, like, necessities? Come on. Whew. All right. I think we will have to do this on a new day. We'll have to do this on a new day. Yeah, it's going to require us to go more in depth than I thought. Hey, do we have like a little teaser though? Yeah, we do have a teaser. Okay, folks, one last thing. One of the fun things that I want to do with you guys is dive into the analog horror series Vita Carnis, because it officially has a second season now. And I don't know if I did the first season. Let me check that. If the first season isn't in our, analog horror series, maybe we will do we'll do season 1. Let's see here. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Huh. Sorry, I just, in the process of Googling this, I found an entire playlist of seemingly every episode of the show Riverboat. That's fun. Maybe we'll dive into this sometime. Watch some Riverboat on Riverboat. Good night, Lady Raincloud. See you tomorrow. All right. Let's watch the teaser for season 2 of Vita Carnis. Now, my recollection of Vita Carnis is that now I have the Undertale themes stuck in my head. I have several of the songs from Undertale stuck in my head. I think the one that I keep saying out loud is is Asgore's theme. It's just stuck in my head, and I'm gonna have to play Undertale to get it out. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. Good night, KG Bagula. All right. So, to the best of my recollection, Vita Carnis is about, like, Earth being infected by living meat. Essentially, like this organism that manifests into different kinds of creatures, kind of like The Thing, but not as infectious, I guess. So I didn't know it was going to get a season 2, but apparently there's about an hour of footage from season 2 that is now out, or 4 episodes, and we're gonna watch the teaser for it tonight. Get you guys excited for it. We're not doing it tonight because I gotta get to bed. I got stuff I need to do tomorrow. But let's watch this together, huh?
Riverboat Jack, please take all my money.
Thank you for the 50 DK. Donkey Kong, he's the leader of the crew. All right. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Metatiahu. Here we go. That's so good. I'm so excited. Oh, it's not done yet. CAR's Carcass. Mission summary. Success. That's so cool. I am remembering a bit of the finale of season 1 of Vita Carnis, and I remember being extremely impressed by it. I can't wait for us to revisit this series. I'm really excited. Are we watching tomorrow? I think we will. I was banking on doing What If Alt Hist on Friday, and I'm hoping that the site chat will be fixed by then. But if not, I think tomorrow we'll do Vita Carnis tomorrow for sure, I think that will be fun. And maybe I'll start playing Undertale tomorrow too. I know I'm not going to have a ton of
I
time.
recommend Dreams of an Insomniac by Pastra, one of my favorite YouTubers.
Ooh, Comrade Girl 2018. I will attempt to check it out. So I think tomorrow we will do Undertale and Vita Carnis Season 2. And, possibly if I get mad enough at a YouTuber or something, we'll or come across something ridiculous, I'll throw that in the mix too. I think that'll be fun. Bum 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 ba bum 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 ba. Also, let me just check here one thing. It's nice that despite being a really late stream and despite starting at an obscene hour and despite having one of our site chats down, it's really nice that there are over 200 people watching right now. This is good. I was talking earlier today how cool it is that I've been able to build up, along with you guys, a community that I can do this as a job. I'm so thankful that I can do this. It's kind of crazy that this is working, that I'm actually doing it. And I am really grateful that you guys show up and support me day after day and continue to support me with subs and donos and allow me to do this job, because it means a lot to me. And it seems to mean a lot to you guys too. And how close? Like I don't know. I didn't even have to get on your case to like the stream today, guys, and we're at over 150 likes. And we are currently 91 subscribers away from 10K. We are 91 subscribers away from 10K. My hope, my dream, okay? And this is just maybe a fool's dream. I'm hoping that when we do the What If Alt Hist stream part 3, that marathon of streaming will get us to 10K. I'm hoping that massive weird project will get us over the line. I'm really hoping. I think it might. I think it could, because we're that close. All right. Just seeing what is coming out tomorrow. You know what? I'm actually gonna move something else. Maybe better on the weekend then. I do not have time. Friday is the ideal day for me to do this this wild adventure, just personally. You know what? I'm putting the Robbie Sove Dungeon Master thing to go up later today. You'll get multiple pieces of content. That way, even if I have a late stream, you guys will still have stuff to go over. There we go. What if Alt Hist needs mental health crisis intervention? He does. And he also needs to stop being a conservative that posts YouTube videos. Would you go on the Vanguard? Yeah, I'd probably go on the Vanguard. Like, the Vanguard boys seem like they have decent politics. I feel like there have been, and I can't remember exactly, but I feel like there may have been like incidents in the past where it was like the way they treat women can sometimes be a bit weird, but other than that, and I can't even point to any specific instances off the top of my head. So, yeah, I'd go on. I imagine it'd be fine. I imagine they're all right. They seem nice enough. Should also try off Joe Wagon. Off Yo Wagon. The thing is, I'm terrible at reaching out to people. Like there are other like leftists and political folks who have reached out to me in the past, and like we're both or I've reached out to, and we're both like, yeah, we should definitely do a show together at some point. And then I get caught up in like doing my own thing. And like my hope is that in the future I will have like a full-time editor, and I will have somebody who can like book for the show. Because those are like I'm terrible at both of those things. But those things also cost money, and I don't have that to pay people. And I have like, and I know when I say this, some people might reach out after stream, but I don't feel comfortable with folks working for free. I think if you're doing a job, you should be paid. And I don't have the money to do that. I love No Justice. I would absolutely chat with her. Well, that's the thing, right? I don't want a volunteer corps of editors. That seems antithetical to what I want to do with the channel, right? Like what I want to do with this project. I want to get to a point where I'm big enough that I can like just pay someone a living wage. Vanguard's one of the biggest critics of TYT. I'm aware. I just, you know, my politics are not based around who else is criticizing TYT, you know? They did do a good interview with Carlos Menchaca like years ago that I liked. Oh, it's called an internship. There we. You know what? We need a lot of Riverboat Jack internships. And one hand, wonder maybe we should check back in with what Spirit Science is doing, huh? One of these days. But folks, I need to go to bed because I have to be up in like 5 hours. Like these streams, it's been helping me deal with a really hard time lately. Well, I'm glad, Shark Nation. I'll be back tomorrow. And what the fuck is Spirit Science? You know what? The stream's not done yet. We're not doing one of the long videos though, okay? We're not doing one of the long ones. All right. Man, he's not doing so hot. You know what? This one will be a good introduction, I think. All right. This is Spirit Science. This is pure unadulterated Spirit Science, all right? I'm clicking this button. We're doing a segment. We're doing one last segment. So folks, there's a guy called Spirit Science, and they did change the name of the channel for a bit, but then it went back to Spirit Science because I guess it was just more recognizable that way. And you know, looking through some of the recent videos, you know, this is the one I got time to you know, go over, and it's called "This Frequency Device is a Game Changer." And I know what all of you are asking right now. What is a frequency device? What game is it changing? You'll never guess.
If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Hey, today I want to invite you to join me on a healing journey. There's something new that I've been exploring in this past month, and I've seen some pretty remarkable results, and I really wanted to tell you about it. So first, the basics. This is a microcurrent frequency device called Healy, which is a wearable portable tech that uses microcurrent frequencies to promote wellness, balance energy fields, and supports wellness in the body. It was developed.
Oh man, I love supporting my energy field.
With principles
Tell
from
me
quantum
more.
physics and holistic health in mind, designed to deliver.
Whoa, it has quantum physics inside? I need some quantum physics inside me.
Specific frequencies to different areas of the body in order to address a variety of physical, mental, and emotional issues. The frequencies align with the body's bioenergetic field, which stimulates the proper flow of life force current in various channels within the body.
You know, I love when my doctor talks about my life force current. I always get perfect score on life force current. It's when, they take your blood pressure, they listen to your breathing, they listen to your heart, and then they tap into your life force current to analyze the frequency of your vibes. I love it. This device could really be a game changer for that.
The Healy device was developed by German entrepreneur and physicist Markus Schmick, who has a background in quantum physics and philosophy. Schmick, along with his team of experts in medicine, science...
Well, if he has a background in quantum physics and philosophy, clearly this has beneficial results for medicine
and spirituality, aimed to create a device that could bridge the gap between advanced technology and holistic healing. The inspiration for Healy came from the Time Waver system, a larger, professional-grade frequency therapy machine used by practitioners in clinics. Schmick envisioned making the benefits of frequency healing more accessible to the general public by creating a portable, user-friendly device, which led to the creation of Healy in 2018. Healy's development was also influenced by the work of Nuno Nina, a Portuguese researcher known for his expertise in frequency medicine and holistic health. Nina contributed a large database of frequency programs that target various aspects of human health, which are now integrated.
Look, you can tell he's doing serious medical work because he's in front of a computer and there's a lady on a bed nearby.
To the Healy system. Now, it's probably fair to say that all of us have been through a lot in our lives. We've all had highs and lows, and sometimes the experiences that we've had shake us to our core. And while we all have to stand in the place of responsibility for dealing with what we've been through, sometimes the pain of aftershock of trauma can last a long time, even years after the event has primarily been processed within the consciousness.
And that's why you need, the emerald tablets of Thoth, as well as this vibe machine. Not a vibrator, that's very different. You need a vibe machine.
The body keeps the score, so they say. And if we've been traumatized or affected on really deep levels, that can stay with us and affect our thoughts and actions and how we process things for years to come. For myself personally, there have been times where I struggled with being in really difficult situations that were hard to get out of, especially if it would cause heartbreak.
I smell bullshit with this video. No, oh really? I think this guy might not know what he's talking about.
For others in the process. Unfortunately, that lingering in situations too long also ends up causing pain along the way, usually for everyone. I wonder if that's something that anyone else here can relate with. So anyways, I don't want to get into all of the details, but last year some pretty rough things took place. A collection of drama, heartbreak, loss, and a severe injury that led to some...
Also, always worth mentioning, the guy who makes these videos snuck into a hospital during COVID, breaking protocol in order to prove that they were doing illegal experiments on people, and weirdly enough didn't do that. And also is credibly, alleged to have committed sexual assault. So, he started a weird sex cult thing. Just always something worth mentioning with spirit science.
Lingering pain within my body. The biggest two things were that my chest hurt quite a lot and often, and I started having trouble sleeping. For the majority of the past year, actually, I couldn't sleep more than a few hours at a time. And if I went for a run sometimes, I'd have to stop in the middle of it because of chest pain.
Dude, go to your fucking doctor. Go. Something is wrong with your heart. Go to the doctor.
While I dealt with the issue within my waking, conscious mind, it was clear that somewhere in my body there were things that lingered and remained unresolved.
Yeah, it's called
I tried all kinds of
heart
remedies,
arrhythmia,
including acupuncture, herbal remedies. I saw a doctor, as well as doing a lot of fasting and meditating and praying, but none of it really seemed to have much effect or the desired results. So when my friend found out...
I told my doctor I was having chest pain constantly, and he couldn't help me. He had no idea about what I could do. Doctors, with their inability to diagnose severe chest pain
I'd been through and what I was struggling with, she thought maybe a Healy could help. I'd just gotten back from a trip and I found it on my doorstep, and I just thought, wow, well, this couldn't have come at a better time.
He didn't even buy one. The universe provided one for him. It must have been the quantum fluctuations.
Unfortunately, due to the prolonged lack of sleep, I was starting to run into that problem of being kind of wiry, and some of my personal relationships suffered as a result. When I got the Healy, I started using it right away, and immediately I could feel the effects of the microcurrents in my body. Like there was a noticeable effect that it was doing something to my energetic field. But then, within a couple of days, I started seeing results. all of a sudden, I started sleeping throughout the night, and the pain in my chest started to go away. Soon, I was able to start going for long runs again without needing to stop because of the pain in my chest. And, you know, while we're on the subject of exercise, another challenge that I had was back in 2017, I banged my knee on a wall by accident and developed this ongoing knee pain that would come and go. I had it x-rayed by doctors and they didn't find anything. And
Oh, you banged your knee on a wall and the vibes were off. So glad that you got your vibe machine to fix your knee with quantum fluctuations in your chi field.
They suggested physiotherapy, who said it probably was some kind of muscle cramp. But again, 7 years have gone by with all kinds of therapies practiced, and nothing made this pain go away for good. Until...
Did you actually go to the physical therapy that doctor suggested you go to? Did you actually go and then keep at it consistently?
You guessed it, the Healy. In the past 3 weeks or so, my knee has barely given me any inconvenience at all.
The healing power of a good JO sesh. Yeah, did he charge his JO crystal properly? That's the real question. Did he have some trusted bros come over and charge a crystal for him?
I've been blown away. Seriously. Now,
did any of this actually happen? No. He's not being magically cured by a quantum device that showed up at his doorstep one day.
On top of that, just in case you're curious, I really didn't change anything about my habits either since getting the Healy. It wasn't as though I started meditating an extra 3 more hours a day or suddenly went raw vegan, although most of my diet was already usually pretty close to that. Still, I've been amazed. Everything has been getting better, and very quickly. Now, the way that this works is like this. The Healy device operates through a mobile app that allows you to select from a wide range of programs tailored to specific needs, such as pain relief, stress reduction, immune support, emotional balance, and more.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What are these categories? Because you listed off categories that might be, you know, recognizable, but I'm looking at the screen here and some of these are not at all recognizable. For go to the roots. What is this? Dark Souls? Clean all what? Digest all? Nerve harmony? Eyes harmony? Hormone harmony? Potency? Come on, man. Are you fucking kidding me here? People fall for this shit.
Underlying technology is based on frequency healing, which posits that each part of the body and its systems had its own optimal frequency, kind of like how every chakra has its own frequency.
No.
When those frequencies are disrupted, illness or imbalance can occur. Healy is intended to help restore harmony by sending precise frequency pulses to realign the body's bioenergetic field. And so, as mentioned, my experience with it so far has been really profound. I'm sleeping a full night's rest again. My chest doesn't...
Yeah, doctors don't want you to know about it, but you can actually fix all of your medical problems with this magic vibe device, okay? Like, the big medical industry doesn't want you to know about how you can fix your pain and your heart problems and your cancer and your digestive issues with a simple vibrator that you attach anywhere on your body. Anywhere on your body. Anywhere.
Doesn't hurt anymore. My knee is better. And, you know, while adding to all of these stories, it also wasn't too long ago that I actually lost someone very dear to me. Someone that I loved and
God damn it, Shamaniacal the Shamanite was hoping nobody would pay attention to device.
A lot, and that kind of sent me over the edge. I had this joke that the only thing a Healy can't fix is a broken heart. But then I spoke to my friend about it, and she said, well, give the emotional well-being and inner unity programs a try, just in case. You know, losing a loved one is hard. It can really...
He's really trying to sell this by saying that Did your mom die? Well, you know what will help your broken heart? This vibration device. It will fix the grief you feel over losing a loved one. That's insane.
Really mess anyone up, and it's good to have all kinds of support when that happens. So in addition to my friends and family, and a whole lot of prayer to spirit, I can say the Healy also helped me return to my center while I was imploding with very severe inner pain. So it's been a few weeks since I've been working with the Healy, usually running it a few times a day and feeling like this thing has a lot of potential for the whole world. I mean a lot. And I know there are a lot of people out there who, like me, have some lingering energies in their body that might need some support in clearing them out. Even if the trauma or whatever happened a long time ago, maybe there's some stuck energies in the body that need help moving out and being transformed. And so if my story resonated with you today, maybe the Healy can help you too. Because let's face it, being human is hard, but we're here for a reason, and there's a lot of lessons that come with living a human life. As we discovered in another video recently, life is a school, but we're not in this journey alone, and we never were. And besides all of the personal lessons associated with this experience, for me, there's been this huge affirmation which brings us back to the quote that I shared from Tesla at the beginning of this video. Understanding the secrets of the universe.
You know, one of the favorite tricks of channels like this is to like try and legitimize their work or their products or their ideas by quoting like Einstein or Tesla, and that makes it seem like Tesla also would have used a Healy, doesn't it?
This comes with realizing that everything must be conceptualized as vibration and frequency and energy. As energy beings, we have to address our challenges not just on the material level, but on an energetic one. And we can use the tools we have available to help. I mean, let's be real. If technology is going to be used to harm us, as it so often does, we know that Wi-Fi signals have been shown to kill plants, and who knows what 5G is doing to us.
Oh my god.
Then why shouldn't we also use similar technology for good, right? That's where the Healy comes in. So I really, really want to recommend, if this resonates with you, please place an order and give one a try. After having my own experience with it be so beneficial, it feels like Healy is one of the best tools available today that uses technology to support the bioenergetic field of the body system. I don't know of anything else quite like it, and so far the results have been really profound. So if you're interested in this and you're called to give it a try, you can use the link in the description to explore the Healy models available. They have a few different versions, and the higher level models have way more programs available. When you place your order, you'll be connected with a representative that will help you to get set up and learn how to use it. And if you have any questions that you want answered first, leave them in the comments below this video. We've got connected with someone who works with Healy who can help you directly. And just think too, it's not just for yourself, but you can try it out with your friends or family if you know someone who needs it. And if you do have a profound experience with it, share with us your stories on how Healy has positively helped, and we can pass on and share those stories here or on our second Spiritverse channel. Much love always, and I'll see you in the next video.
Now, you might be saying, wow, Jack, this all sounds too good to be true. How much does one of these miracle devices cost? It's $4,000. That it is $4,000. He just found it on his doorstep, guys. $4,000. And also, you'll never believe it, guys. You'll never believe it. It's a multi-level marketing scheme. Yeah, you know, you'd never. Who could have seen this coming? Well, it turns out when you Google Healy, one of the top results is actually this article from Rolling Stone from 2 years ago now. Influencers are claiming a $4,000 hunk of plastic can treat infertility, skinned knees, and autism. For the low price of $4,000, I cannot be on the spectrum? Wow! I don't want that. I like being on the spectrum. That being said, yeah, basically it's a multi-level marketing scheme. The fact that he'll be happy to hook you up with someone from the company. Of course he will. It's a scam. It's not like it's even more of a scam than what Spirit Science usually sells, which is the Emerald Tablets of Thoth scam. But this is actually like a scam. Oh god. The regular one is still $500 plus a subscription. Oh yes, various editions range from $500 to more than $4,000 for the professional version. But the thing is, if you're dying of cancer or you have heart pains and you have difficulty breathing and you have chronic pain, are you going to opt for the cheaper one? Or are you going to go for the $4,000 one? You're going you want the professional. You want only the best. You want only the best, highest quality vibes for your chakras. Oh, there are a large variety of other products being sold by this company. Let's see. There's a watch that measures your bioenergetic state for $230.50. There's also the Mag Healy, which is a $2,229 spherical disc that emits a specialized magnetic field to, quote, harmonize your being, your immediate environment, and drinking water. And you can also subscribe for $25 a month to optimize your pet's bioenergetic field as well. So, do you care about little fluffles? Well, guess what? You're going to cough up an additional $25 a month for the rest of Fluffle's life if you want them to be bioenergetically aligned. Here, let's just take a quick look at their website, huh? Well, I'm in the United States. Welcome to Healy World. Nature's potential unlocked. Wow, let's take a look at the products. Holistic well-being. Healy Obsidian. Oh my god. Oh, the Healy Coil. This is new. What's this? Frequencies without cables. Oh, finally. Buy now. How much is it? Oh, it's $224. Ah! Anyway, that's Spirit Science, a scam artist of the highest echelon, but also the lowest. Better scam artists become more normalized in corporate America. He's honestly just kind of off doing his own cult thing. Do they come with a dowsing rod app? God. Anyway, we did it. You sent me the most cursed Undertale thing ever on Discord? What is this? I need to see the trailer. Oh my god. Oh my god, what is this? Hey, look everyone, it's your favorite video game, Undertale. Oh boy. Now, I'm going to say something controversial. That actually looked like it had artistry going on in it that I'm deeply confused by. Was this real? The answer to that is yes. Yes, it is a real mod that you can download for Undertale. Revamps some of the story. Someone put so much work into this. Ugh. I love when people strip all the joy and message Undertale was into a homophobic religious propaganda to try and turn you Christian. I finished Pacifist. Any hint on how to start the genocide route? Oh my god. Okay. You know, making sprites is hard, and these are cute. Unless you really think God would really want to save this dejected ditch. The spider tells Nabstab Look that he's in danger of eternal judgment. Oh, God. Alright. Christian mod with Bible verses tells the true meaning of Christmas, converts the game into a God-honoring adventure with the gospel, revamps some of the story, changes some sprites, has 2 main endings, requires a second playthrough, has sort of a secret requirements to unlock. Most graphical changes are in the second playthrough. Interaction with objects and NPCs instead of rushing through the game is recommended. If you've been a longtime viewer of our stream, yeah, you might recognize some connections to it. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm not gonna lie, there is a sick part of me that does want to play this. Huh. What I'm hearing is they ruined the date. Not my date. Save your spoons. Keep your powder dry. Oh, they probably they probably made this entire goddamn mod to call the gays in Undertale degenerate. Ugh. Poor Alphys, yeah. Alright, folks, I'm going to bed. You can't stop me now. Bye, bitches! I love you all. I mean it in an endearing way, not in a degenerating way. I don't want to denigrate any of you, okay? I like you all. Good night.
In 1948, the natives were expelled from the land of their ancestors, their homes and cities shelled. From the traitors in Transjordan to clandestine British demand, by the settlers' Zionist army that rampaged across the land. Oh Palestine, we hear your desperate plea, that once again across the land your people can be free. Oh Palestine, your people live in fear. We demand your emancipation from the river to the sea. In 1967, Israel did invade to conquer and to colonize what little had remained. The people of old Palestine, once again their fates entwined with the Zionist occupation of their homes and weary minds. Oh Palestine, we hear your desperate plea, that once again across the land your people can be free. Oh Palestine, your people live in fear. We demand your emancipation from the river to the sea. In 2023, they've come a final time to destroy your homes and families with a murderous, lethal design. The bombs our head are falling as our leaders continue their lies. The sky does glow and the blood it flows as we hear the children's cries. Oh Palestine, we hear your desperate plea, that once again across the land your people can be free. Oh Palestine, your people live in fear. We demand your emancipation from the river to the sea. We stand with your emancipation. Your people will be free.